My name is Sebbi and welcome back to the coffee break in Minecraft. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Wow, we already made it to the month of August 2023. That's crazy. The year goes by so quickly. The only good thing about this is that I can flip the calendar in my kitchen and reveal the picture for the month of August. That's cool. That's exciting. I'm already looking forward to do this. This episode is the second part of the Copenhagen Files. I am talking about my travel experiences to the capital of Denmark. But before I continue with the third day, I need to feed the cat and store away the fish I caught yesterday. I think it is time for a cod again. We got so much cod in store. So here's your breakfast, cat. Okay, cod seems to be alright. It's not the cat's favorite, but it's okay. That's fine. That's great. So, cat is enjoying the cod. I am checking the park if everything is in order. Before, as just said, I will continue with my narration of the journey to Copenhagen. The attendance at the Human Computer Interaction International Conference. Very fancy name. The conference also was kinda fancy, but not as impressive as some other conferences I attended so far. Still, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed being in this, how did I call it yesterday? Bubble of happy summer times. Something like that. I don't know how I called it yesterday, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. So, we are at the third day. Thursday, July 27th, I guess. Thursday was the day of my presentation. My presentation was scheduled for the third session today, so there were always 4 sessions a day. One session from 8 to 10, the next one from 10:30 to 12:30, then 1:30 to 3:30, and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. My session was the 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. session. So I decided, okay, I definitely like to be there in time. So I attended the second session. The 8 a.m. session was a little bit too early. I also wanted to go out running, and I had to prepare some quick lunch because at the venue there was no lunch included. They had some not really food trucks, but some places where you could get some sandwich and hot dog, I think some salad, but all those portions, those dishes were not big, so I wouldn't have been satisfied with one of those meals. Also, being in Scandinavia, things are really expensive, so I was not inclined to get something at the venue. Instead, I prepared some sandwiches myself. Basically, I bought a loaf of bread the day before. I bought a big block of cheese. That's pretty cool. In the Danish, or I think it's general in Scandinavia, you get really some very big blocks of cheese. I think it's 500 grams of cheese. I know. If when being in the States or so, you get, I guess, I don't know, super big blocks of cheese. Wouldn't be surprised if you can get even a kilo of cheese or so. Anyways, so I made my sandwiches myself, that I have something for lunch. Then I attended the first session, just to be there on the one hand and time on the other hand, because the sessions sounded interesting. Unfortunately, the presentations weren't that entertaining, weren't that great. So they could have improved on their presentation skills, that's for sure. Nevertheless, the sessions were good. For lunch, I met up with my newfound friends. We spent lunch together, and they all wanted to attend my session, to also support me, which I found really cool. Overall, I was really impressed by my session. We were positioned or placed in a rather small room compared to some of the bigger rooms, but for some reason this session I belonged to was kinda interesting, I guess, because yeah, the people were even standing. The room was completely full, and it even felt like, because there were suddenly more people, some wanted to attend my presentation. I mean, I'm happy about this. I was just a little bit sad that it was not the best research I presented there. I mean, for this type of conference, it's a cool conference, I must admit this, but it's more the... I feel calling it the B-type conference is a little bit harsh, but it's actually a B-type conference, so it's not really a super AAA conference where everything super big goes. And so I just submitted some research where I thought, okay, it will be hard to get this published somewhere else. And yeah, so this was a little bit sad that so many people were interested in my presentation. I still made the most of it. I mean, I'm really good at presenting things. As always, I did not practice anything or so. I basically just threw this presentation together, made sure that it looks good by having lots of full screen images in the presentation. This, by the way, is a secret presentation hack. If you go for full screen images and you don't include text, you can take as much time as you like to explain that slide, or you can just go through it quickly, and by doing so, your presentation will mostly be on time. As yeah, in my case, I wasn't even sure as I created the presentation. I think a week prior to the conference or so, they requested the presentations to be sent, and yeah, so they requested the presentations to be sent to them, but they did not disclose how much time I do have for my presentation. I just assumed it will be 15 minutes. I was right with that assumption, but could have been also 12 minutes or so. And yeah, so by just including full screen pictures, I always have the chance to either explain more about a given picture, or just to skim through it and thus save some time. So that's what I did, or basically that's what I not had to do, because I was right with my assumption of 15 minutes, so this worked out really well. I, as always, did not practice the presentation, so I just went for it. And people found it really entertaining. I mean, I really had an entertaining presentation style. So yeah, they all found it good. They all found it very interesting, very good, entertaining, very, very good from the presentation way. And yeah, so everyone was happy, me included. The Q&A session also worked out well. We had to basically stop the Q&A session because I got several questions, which and not questions like about something that is wrong or so, but more questions like what could be next, what is my opinion on certain things, and so on. So it was really more of somewhat of a discussion, which I also enjoyed, and less about why haven't you done this, or did you know the work of so and so? What do you think about it? Not these questions. So I was really content with that presentation and with the Q&A session. So yeah, this day was really good. After my session finished, we of course went to the hall with the refreshments to get lots of refreshments. I talked a little bit to the chairs of my session, because I'm somewhat connected to them. I mean, I never met them, but we do have well, they do have a colleague, and this colleague was my former master student. We are still collaborating, so yeah, I heard about them and they heard about me via that former student. And so it was nice to really get a face to this and to talk about this and to think about, hey, maybe we could also collaborate on these things. It's always hard to actually do a collaboration after such a conference meeting, but it was nice. It was very nice. And then as they found someone else they knew at the conference and started to talk to this person, I continued on and met my group again. We then went to a... Oh, it starts to rain. So it's similar to real world, current Sebbi. This morning, now speaking of today, August 1st, it was really, really raining a lot. It was really heavy rain. Of course, it was a Tuesday, long run day. So I was really wet. I even had the impression that toward the end of the run, my shoes, well, they felt really wet and squishy inside. But I also had the impression that they gained weight because, it felt more exhausting running. So it was like, okay, my shoes have filled up. I'm carrying around so much water. And yeah, I was completely dripping as I got back home after my 22 point something kilometer long run. It was nice. It was nice to run again in the rain. I know when we do have winter time again, it's raining every day. I'm complaining about this, but having a nice mixture between sunshine and rain is not too bad. It's actually not too bad. Okay, back to past Sebbi, back to the conference. We attended a panel about ChatGPT and the future of AI. There was not so much about science or something where I thought, okay, hey, this is cool, this is new. But it was interesting to hear what they thought about it. Also, it was interesting because one of the the invited people were some lawyers who specialized in AI and in things around it. So it was interesting to hear from their perspective and what their issues are. And yeah, it was really, really interesting. I don't really have the impression that I learned something from that panel, but it was nice to hear from everyone and to get a little bit more about different perspectives. So it was nice and interesting to learn about perspectives. The only thing where no one really had an answer was, when will AI be really useful? Because so far those trained models only say things about the probability, but they don't really have context behind it, so to say. So it's not like that they then quickly look up or something on Wikipedia to also provide context. So if the AI does not know what 1 degree Celsius is, for instance, it's just a value for the AI, and this makes it also a little bit pointless because it can't really analyze things. It's all about what it is trained on, basically. Anyway, so we attended this panel. This was interesting, and then came the big question: what do we do now? It was 6 p.m. and there was a question like, okay, we want to have some food, but where do we want to have some food? Do we want to go to the town? Well, town. do we want to go to the center of Copenhagen, or do we want to stick around the venue? In the end, we went to the center of Copenhagen. First, we wanted to go to a place that's apparently famous for its ramen, but there was a long queue, so we did not go there. Instead, we then found a very good pizza place. The pizza was super delicious. It was really one of the best pizza I enjoyed in quite some time. So this was cool, and this was basically also the end of the day. The others continued to a bar, but I wanted to get home also. Bar is not that interesting, and it also got somewhat late. I also wanted to go to bed. And so they stayed there for a little bit longer, and I got back home, fell to bed, and had a good night's sleep. The next morning, interval training. So I got back to the beach, because next to the beach there's a very long road, straight road, with about no traffic lights, which is also very important, that you don't have to stop every time, which could be especially annoying when doing intervals. And yeah, there I did my intervals. What was also nice, because by doing so I extended a little bit more my radius, my knowledge of Copenhagen. I almost got back to the airport, so I really explored basically the southern part of Copenhagen simply by running. Then returned to my place, got ready to get back to the venue, to the conference, attended some sessions there, and after lunch break I did not find an interesting session anymore. The one session I attended was quite interesting. It was about medical applications of virtual reality, and they had, for instance, an ECG trainer for virtual reality, which was kind of interesting. They also had a virtual reality training system to talk and discuss with patients as well as connected people. So yeah, this was interesting. And yeah, in the afternoon I did not find an interesting session anymore. Conference basically was over. So I decided, okay, that's it. I want to see a little bit more of Copenhagen. I want to explore a little bit more Copenhagen. And I also want to see if I can go swimming. And this is where the open air pool in the harbor comes into place. This thing is super cool. They do have various pools for swimmers and for non-swimmers. They do have a jumping area, which is basically shaped a little bit like the stern of a ship. So this just fits into this. It's made of wood, so everything there is made of wood, which is also cool. And yeah, you can jump from various heights. I think there's a 1 meter platform jumping point, a 3 meter point, and a 5 meter point. I did not jump from it, simply because I don't want to lose my contact lenses. But I haven't had my swim goggles, so yeah, I don't want to risk it. I just went for a normal swim. The temperature was very refreshing as I descended the ladder into the water. But as soon as I let go and started to swim, it felt alright, and so it was really a great and nice, really refreshing experience. Conference was over. It felt like summer. It was really the comfortable summer temperatures I talked about yesterday. So around 24 degrees Celsius, a slight breeze, not too humid. It was really this perfect summer bubble. And for a perfect summer, you also have to go swimming. And so I was even swimming in the sea, swimming in the Baltic Sea, swimming in the harbor in this super cool swimming pool. Yeah, this basically was more or less the highlight of that entire thing, simply because it was so spot on. It was such a rewarding feeling after the end of the conference. It was so refreshing. It was nice to be out there. It was not too crowded. So yeah, this was really amazing. Going there for a swim. Oh dear, getting shot at. Then after I air dried myself, I returned to the Airbnb to have some lunch there, to rest a bit before heading out in the late afternoon, early evening again to explore some more places. Man, it was super crowded as I was out there Friday evening, but it was cool. I was a little bit sad. They have a apparently pretty cool library. It's called the Black Diamond. Yeah, Black Diamond. I got into the Black Diamond, but it was way too crowded, so I wasn't inclined to actually go further into the library. I think it would have been really interesting to see a little bit more of that library, but I felt it was okay to just be there. And then I explored a little bit more of Copenhagen. I went to the new harbor, or however the thing is called. This place is I don't know, the the aesthetical pleasing part of Copenhagen or so, with very colorful buildings, really good looking buildings, old ships in that harbor. It was cool, it was nice to watch. Also there were some street musicians who made some great music. Once again, nice thing to explore Copenhagen, very interesting thing to be in Copenhagen. And yeah, this concludes Friday, the last day of the conference. And this also concludes this episode. Tomorrow we will continue with the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, and then we caught up with everything. So I hope you enjoyed this very episode and I hope you will be joining me tomorrow. Until then, my name is Sebbi. See you!